In a remote town nestled deep in the misty forests of New England, a haunting tale unfolded, one that would challenge the boundaries between reality and nightmare. This is the story of Richard Rick Miller, who experienced something that locals in his hometown called the returning shadow. In 2019, Rick's wife Sarah shared his terrifying ordeal with me. It began when Rick, working for a forestry management company, was sent with his team to conduct environmental workshops in a small, isolated community we'll call Blackwood. The residents of Blackwood were descendants of early settlers who still maintained their ancestral traditions and customs with unwavering devotion. Among these traditions was a strict prohibition. No outsider should enter Blackwood after sunset on Wednesdays. When Rick and his team arrived on Tuesday evening, the town's mayor personally welcomed them, offering food and drinks while engaging in friendly conversation. During their chat, the mayor remarked, "You're fortunate your journey went smoothly, allowing you to arrive today. Had you come tomorrow evening, no one here would have welcomed you." Curious, Rick asked about the Wednesday restriction. The mayor hesitated before answering. "It's a long-standing prohibition in our community. Breaking it is dangerous. My own son, Connor, once violated this rule and still suffers the consequences to this day." When Rick inquired further about Connor's experience, the mayor shared the troubling story. Connor had moved to Boston 9 years earlier and rarely visited home as he was saving money. When Connor's mother called to tell him his father was ill and wanted to see him, she specifically warned him not to return on Wednesday night. Though Connor was raised with these traditions, he had grown skeptical of them living in the city. He respected the customs only to honor the townspeople. When checking flight schedules, Connor found that the available flights would have him arriving Wednesday afternoon. He reasoned that arriving before nightfall would technically honor the prohibition, though it would be cutting it close. After a tiring flight and reaching the nearest airport, Connor took the only available transportation, a private car service, for the remaining journey to Blackwood. The driver remained unusually silent throughout the trip. Connor knew why. The driver was aware of Blackwood's prohibition and was only taking him because Connor had offered extra payment. As they traveled through the forest approaching Blackwood, Connor spotted a figure in the distance. A man wearing a weathered hat and tattered clothes, walking alone like someone returning from fieldwork. As their car passed him, Connor glanced back, but the figure had vanished. The driver immediately admonished him. "Don't look back, sir. Keep your eyes forward." When Connor asked about the man, the driver nervously replied, "That wasn't human. Let's not speak of it. It might follow us." Their journey was further delayed when their car got a flat tire. The panicked driver apologized, saying they wouldn't reach Blackwood before dark and offering to return Connor's payment. Connor assured him it would be fine if the driver just took him to the town's entrance, and he would walk the rest himself. They reached Blackwood's entrance at dusk. As Connor walked through the eerily quiet town, he noticed residents peeking through windows, some hurriedly turning off their porch lights as he passed. Upon reaching his parents' home, his mother greeted him with distress. "Why did you still come tonight? I've been so worried, thinking you'd stay somewhere else rather than arrive alone on Wednesday night." Connor dismissed her concerns, eager to see his father. But after entering the house, his mother anxiously locked the door and closed all the windows, warning Connor, "Listen carefully. If anyone knocks tonight, don't open the door." His father, despite being ill, repeated the same warning. That night, as Connor was about to fall asleep, he heard someone clearing their throat on the front porch. Looking through the curtains, he saw a young man with his back turned, wearing a navy blue jacket and a brown backpack. Though Connor couldn't see his face, something about the figure seemed familiar. When Connor moved to open the door, his mother stopped him, crying, "Don't open it." Connor explained there was someone outside, but his mother insisted. Nobody visits on Wednesday night. She peered through the window and immediately began reciting a prayer taught by the town elders. As she prayed, the figure outside tensed and slowly turned to face them. Connor was shocked to see the visitor had his own face, pale, with hollow eyes that were completely black. Connor then realized the figure was wearing the exact clothes he had traveled in that day. After a moment of frozen terror, the figure retreated and vanished into the darkness. His mother hurried Connor back to bed, saying, "Now you've seen it. That wasn't human. Remember, whatever you hear or see tonight, don't leave the house or open the door." The next morning, Connor found his mother burning something in the yard, a bundle of dried leaves along with some of Connor's personal items. Nail clippings, fallen hair from his brush, and scraps of his clothing. When he asked what she was doing, she simply told him it was necessary to prevent it from finding its way back. Throughout the day, Connor felt strangely unwell, experiencing fever-like symptoms despite not being sick. More disturbing was how his reflection seemed wrong. When he smiled, his reflection remained expressionless. When his face was neutral, his reflection appeared angry. Connor tried to convince himself it was just fatigue from his long journey. That night, the horror returned. Someone knocked on their door again. Connor ignored it, remembering his mother's warning, but then heard his own voice calling from outside. "Mom, I haven't come in yet. Please open the door. I'm still outside." When Connor moved to look through the window, his mother appeared behind him, warning him not to open it. "But someone's outside, Mom," Connor said. "Someone who sounds just like me." "Yes," she replied. "You're so similar that even I can barely tell you apart. You are the real one, aren't you?" Connor was bewildered. "Of course I am, Mom. That's not me out there. How could there be two of me?" His mother explained. "What's outside is what we call a returning shadow. It seeks a body to inhabit and appears when someone enters our town during forbidden hours. That's why I begged you not to come Wednesday night. It's searching for that now." "But how did it find me?" Connor asked. "I came here alone." The driver stopped at the town entrance. His mother asked if he had encountered anyone on his journey. "The shadow usually follows those who make eye contact with it. Did you see anyone?" Connor remembered the man in tattered clothes by the roadside. "I saw someone, but I don't think I made eye contact. When I looked back, he was gone." "Even seeing him might have been enough," his mother said. "He knows you saw him. He'll disguise himself as you and gradually try to replace you. If you open the door when he knocks or answer when he calls, he'll copy your voice. But if you keep him outside, eventually he'll leave." Though the entity continued to knock each night, Connor no longer looked outside. He tried to maintain his normal routine while ignoring the persistent visitor. But his life was forever changed. After experiencing these hauntings, Connor was forbidden from going out at night and could only leave the house during daylight hours. He tried to use this time to reconnect with childhood neighbors, but they always fled in fear when they saw him. Word of Connor's violation of the Wednesday prohibition had spread, and since townspeople couldn't distinguish between the real Connor and his doppelganger, they avoided him entirely. This rejection plunged Connor into depression. He lost his appetite, struggled with insomnia, and eventually fell ill. As Connor's condition worsened, the town elder visited to perform a cleansing ritual. Afterward, the elder instructed Connor. "When locals ask when you arrived in town, always answer with any day except Wednesday. This will distinguish you from the shadow, which will always answer Wednesday." Connor's health gradually improved, and when his leave from work expired, he returned to Boston. Life seemed to return to normal, until strange incidents began occurring. Colleagues would ask why he had been standing silently at the end of hallways when he hadn't been there at all. His mother would call to make sure he was really in Boston, as if she suspected he might be lying about his whereabouts. Connor began to consider returning to Blackwood for another cleansing ritual, but was too busy with work to leave immediately. Then one night his terrors escalated. He dreamed he was standing outside his family home in Blackwood. The house appeared empty except for one figure, his doppelganger, still wearing the navy blue jacket and brown backpack, standing on the porch facing the house while Connor stood behind him. "Who are you? What do you want?" Connor asked. The figure turned, smiled, and said, "This house is mine now. It's your turn to wait outside." Connor woke with a start, not in his bed, but standing outside his apartment door, wearing the navy blue jacket and carrying the brown backpack. This was the breaking point for Connor, who had previously dismissed supernatural explanations. At work, he became withdrawn. His colleagues noticed the change, saying he didn't seem like himself anymore. Seeking help, Connor visited a psychologist who diagnosed him with mild dissociative identity disorder, a condition where someone feels detached from themselves, their emotions, thoughts, and environment. With this diagnosis, Connor resigned from his job and returned to Blackwood, believing he would feel safer living with his parents. In Blackwood, Connor continued psychological counseling, hoping his disturbances stemmed from mental health issues rather than supernatural torment. But even after moving back, his Boston friends would call saying they had seen him at his old workplace or around the city, asking why he hadn't told them he was visiting. Unable to cope with these ongoing incidents, Connor never returned to city life. He now spends his days helping his mother tend their land. According to the latest information, the entity that resembles Connor still occasionally appears in different places, wearing Connor's face. Connor himself continues to experience episodes of sudden weakness and disorientation. This is the price Connor pays for breaking Blackwood's ancient prohibition. Trapped between worlds, never certain of his own identity, forever haunted by a shadow wearing his face.